Hey everybody, this is going to be my newbie booktuber tag. I guess that's what it is. This is the first tag video I'm going to do. I've done a few videos already, about 10. So I went ahead and posed the question on Reddit if I should try to do the newbie booktuber tag. I don't really feel that's kind of my style, but I just wanted to throw it out there to see what people thought. So I had a couple comments that came back and said, hey, give it a shot. You know, it can't hurt your channel. Could get people who are just looking through that newbie booktuber tag and see, you know, if there's something somebody new that they might like or anything like that. So before I went ahead and did this tag, I wanted to go ahead and have a couple videos in my catalog. I was listening to a video from Book Invasion, and he kind of said, you know, when people look at the newbie tag, it's nice to have other videos that people can see what you're really about. He was saying that a lot of people, you know, will come in but not know what you're about and not subscribe. So I wanted to definitely let people know what my interests were and what the things were that I was into. So question number one is, why did you start your booktube channel? For me, I saw a lot of what I would call back cover summaries for a lot of videos on booktube, and I really wanted to do some in-depth stuff. I've seen it a few times, but for me, I felt like every time I'd go read a book and I'd look for a review on it, I could have just read the back cover. It didn't really have a lot of opinion in it. It didn't have a breakdown of things that, oh man, that's an important scene in the book. You know, this is what I thought about it, and then, you know, I could do my take on it on, you know, this is what I thought about it, or I could comment, this is what I liked about it as well. I thought that would be an interesting booktube channel, and that's what I hope to do through this channel. Now, those kind of videos are great, and I love them for recommendations. They, you know, are a quick little summary on a book where I may have never heard of it before, and so those are wildly important, and I do a few of those on the channel as well. Usually I try to do a spoiler-free review and then a spoiler-filled review. So question two is, what are some things that are fun and unique that you can bring to BookTube? So for me, being a giant nerd, I could really dive deep into some of these books and look into fan theories, look for fan art, really have in-depth conversations where we talk about certain parts of the book where, you know, I enjoyed it, didn't enjoy it, had a moment with a book the other day, and I mean, it was like a revelation. It was like, oh, I just figured out what's going on here, and I was excited, and I wanted to talk to somebody about it, and that's why I really started this channel, and I think that's an important part of what I want to do here. Question three is, what are you most excited about for your booktube channel? So for me, mostly it's going to be interacting with people, meeting people, you know what I mean, like through the internet. It's an interesting way for people that are a part of the same fandom to really interact with one another, and I'm so excited for that. I really want to be part of a community that really engages with one another, and we all enjoy the same type of things, so it's really cool to talk about the things that we enjoy. So that's what I'm excited most for about this channel. The question four is, why do you love reading? For me personally, I have a great imagination, and I feel like books do so much better of a job to create the world that we're going into, especially since I'm a big science fiction and fantasy fan. I can create in my mind such a intricate and amazing world that I don't feel that movies can capture, and that's why I feel like books are a better medium than movies, and that's why I read more, and I wanted to do a booktube channel. So question five was, what book or series got you into reading? For me, I had a bunch of moments. I feel like I've been into reading pretty much my whole life, but the moments that really got me into reading were when I was younger. I really, really enjoyed Goosebumps, and then Animorphs. I totally dug into Animorphs. There was even a TV show that I was probably the only person that watched. And then at 13, I remember reading The Hobbit. Dad gave it to me, and it was the first book that I wanted to discuss with others. I remember I got done reading The Hobbit, and I ran into my mom and dad's room, and I was like, oh, Dad, this part was cool, and this part was cool, and this part was cool. And he just smiled and was appreciative of my love of reading, and I think that was a wonderful part. Then my favorite series is The Wheel of Time. I got into that about 14. I did a review on the channel already for The Eye of the World, and I want to do a review for all the other ones as well. And so The Eye of the World was really my intro into real epic fantasy, and I was really excited to dive into that world. And ever since then, I've really dug into fantasy and sci-fi, and it's just where I really enjoy to read. So question six is, what question would you like to ask your favorite booktuber? And on that one, for me, it's really, how do you discuss difficult topics and not get roasted? From what I've seen, I guess there's a lot of drama on Twitter that I didn't know about until starting to get into my booktube channel and trying to get discovered. And I realized, I guess, a lot of times people will find things problematic. I guess that's a really big problem for a lot of booktube, where somebody will say something and then everybody like really gets down on them. So being a straight white Christian guy, I think a lot of times my opinion on something may be immediately invalid, or thought of as, well, you don't know what these people are talking about. And I understand that. I understand that my situation is different than others, but I still want to have a community where everybody's kind and everybody's opinions can be brought together at the same point and nobody gets hateful, I guess, would be where I would still like to discuss these things, but I don't want anybody to get very rude or mean or nasty. And booktubers that have done a good job creating that kind of community is I would love to hear how they did it and what they did to do that. So number 7 was, what are the challenges you'll find to be the hardest to overcome? For me, I think it'll be growth. I think being that I read adult fantasy and sci-fi and sometimes older fantasy, there's not a lot of people reading that. So when I did my Dave Duncan video, there was literally nothing on YouTube about it. Like, The Reluctant Swordsman has no presence on YouTube. And so it's neat that I'm the only person that's made a video about it, but also it's going to be a lot harder because there's not going to be a lot of people looking for it and searching for it. So hopefully I can corner a new market in BookTube and create an audience that is excited for that type of stuff. All right, so question 8 is, when did you start reading? For me, I don't remember a time that I wasn't reading. My mom sent me to a Montessori school when I was little, and I gained a love of reading there that I think I've always kept with me. Later in life, she actually told me a story where she would put a flashlight in my room and she would tell me, you better not be reading in your room when you go to bed, but would leave the flashlight and the book in there so that I was breaking the rules by doing what she actually wanted me to do. And I thought that was funny. She told me that when I was an adult.
Oh, I still do that. I still do that. I read in my bed. I have like so many books in my bed right now. Am I saying so many? I mean only 2.
I know. So question number 9 is, where do you read? Most of the time when I'm at home, I read in the recliner. Sometimes I read in bed. And then I listen to a lot of audiobooks when I drive. I have like an hour one-way commute. And so that's a wonderful way for me to get books in and read them back and forth. I do like to open the physical book and reference them. And then I also like to do Kindle on my phone. I had a Kindle and I let my brother, who's in the Marines, borrow it, and he's up in Virginia. I don't. And the last question is, what do you like to read? So my favorite thing to read is fantasy, and I really enjoy reading fantasy. And my second favorite is sci-fi. I find the ideas of sci-fi to be really cool. I've always enjoyed space and the idea of that. So sci-fi is super interesting to me as well. All right, so next what I'm going to be reading is Coming of Wisdom by Dave Duncan, which is the second book after The Reluctant Swordsman. And then after that, I'm going to read Shadow of the Conqueror, which is by Shad from Shadiversity. He also has a YouTube channel. Really cool guy, does lots of medieval stuff, and he is super interesting. I'll link him down in the description. And then also I'm reading The Broken Eye by Brent Weeks. I'm really deep into the Lightbringer series. I can't even put it down right now. It's been super exciting to read. I'll do a review video on book 1, 2, and then 3 as soon as I finish this one. So super excited, guys. Thank you so much for watching my newbie tag. I started a Discord channel. The link will be down in the description. If you can, like the video. I am super excited to dive more into YouTube, and my daughter has something to say to you as well.
Like it, and subscribe to Rajron.
Thanks, baby. See you guys. Bye.
Daddy, I got a chapter book like that.
Sweet. So question 8 is, when did you start reading? I don't remember a time that I didn't read.
Well, actually, you couldn't read when you were a baby.